And welcome back to the Off the Clock Show. You're joined again with your host, Shawn Gervais from the OrbisX CRM, as well as Marty, Mr. Marshall Hill from the Pints of Polishing podcast and hyperClean car care products, where they are absolutely crushing it. Got to throw that out there. And you are. You guys are. Yeah, man.
Got to. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. It's
Massive
fun
orders.
going. Hey, you know what else is fun? Do you have an air fryer?
I do. Yeah.
Do you use it? Do you ever play around with air? What do you?
Sometimes. It depends what we're cooking. It's I find it's really good at certain things, and then other things it's better in our ovens. You know, I just find, or on just a regular cooktop. But I will say this though, it is interesting to try new things in it, and sometimes it cooks them even better than what you could do, you know, alternatively and stuff like that. But I definitely don't use it as often as I know some people that use it like daily. It's their go-to. But yeah, I don't know.
Well, one of my favorite things, it's top 10 of all time. Top 10 things to eat of all time. I don't know if you guys have them up there or not, because it's a little sophisticated. You fry a tortilla.
My feelings are hurt now.
Stuff in it, and it's called a chimichanga.
Oh yeah, okay.
Oh man, love chimichangas, because the first place I worked as a waiter was a Mexican restaurant that was famous for their chimichangas. So right, like
Nice.
fajita beef, got all the stuff in it, like oh, so good.
Yeah.
Absolutely. When you get your picanha,
Yes.
and
Oh my
you're
God,
ready
I
to
know.
do some leftovers,
All
throw
right.
some rice, throw some beans, whatever else you want to put in there. You gotta put some picanha, some queso, put a little
All
queso in mine. Then I put some shredded cheese, right? So little mixture with the picanha, then wrap it up in a burrito, right? Fold it,
Yeah.
wrapped, put your,
Yeah.
I do the, the
I'm
toothpicks,
loving the hand signals.
right? Because some people will use, you can wet your tortillas, and sometimes the wetness that flour will cause it to stick. Doesn't always work, so that's why I like to put some toothpicks in.
Okay, yeah.
Spray it down with olive oil, because I don't use the other stuff, right? So
Yeah.
use olive oil, and then throw it in the. You got to try it, man.
Man, I gotta try that. Yeah.
Tortilla, you keep moving it around, because it does kind of get a little bit hot on that top part. So you do
Sure.
everything
Rotating. Yeah.
rotate it, and
Yeah.
man, you get a crispy
Man.
tortilla, then mixed with that
Like
salt.
that. Yeah. It is such a good combination. You know what I mean? Like it really is. And hey, you know, that's an interesting thing, because I find so they have those like recipe books for the air fryer that come with the air fryer usually, and they kind of advertise it as if you just throw some shit in, push go, and then just sit back and that's it, right? But yeah, it's not true. Like that's how it ends up, kind of soggy in some parts and then crispy in others. But yeah, if you really take the time and you kind of, so I use it a lot. My wife eats a lot of Italian sausages. Her and my wife, her and my daughter. They yeah, my wives. But they so they eat a lot of Italian sausages, and they take forever if I cook them in the oven. And stovetop, it just doesn't cook them. It cooks like the outside too much before the inside and stuff. So I throw them in the air fryer usually. But if you just throw it in there, put it on a setting, and then sit back, they end up cooked all the way through. But it's literally the same texture from the outside to the inside to everything. But so what I do is I use two different settings, and I'll do it for 10 minutes on one, and then I flip and I do the little cuts and the inserts, put it on the next one, but turn the temperature up a little bit and it crisps the outside. I'm telling you, it cooks it better than I could cook it anywhere else. So that's those kinds of things I do, but you got to have the right strategy. That's the key. Yeah. So okay, so I got to try this obviously. So now I got two things. So this is good. My picanha is going to arrive, and then once it arrives, and now know what to do with some of the leftovers. Man, that right there, that's a tip in of itself. That's we could end the episode right now. That's a tip right there. Want the perfect chimichanga? Boom. Get yourself some picanha first, though. That's the trick.
Well, I mean, the perfect one is definitely in the oil, deep fried.
Yeah. Do you have a deep fryer? You must.
I don't.
No? Oh, okay. See, maybe that's why I don't use my
put
air
a bunch
fryer
of oil in a pan, right? But then it's still oil, and it's still deep fried.
True.
So what makes it great is that it's the air fry, right, with olive oil.
Versus
Is it amazing for you? No. Is it much better for you than, right? Like than
Than
maybe
traditional oil and
yes.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I gotta be honest, anyone though that is on the market for an or not an air fryer, a deep fryer, I got this one by Tefal, and oh my God, it's amazing. It's a reusable one, so you can reuse the oil and everything. And I'm telling you, it is the nicest system ever. But that's probably why I don't use my air fryer as much, because mostly I was using the air fryer for things like egg rolls or things like that, which just aren't quite the same, you
Yeah.
know. Yeah, so you throw them in the deep fryer. Oof, man, amazing. Not as healthy, not as healthy, but also depends on the oil you use and things like that. But definitely not as healthy. But if you are gonna go that road, sometimes you just want an egg roll, and there's no healthy way about it. You know what I mean? Just gotta accept the bad. But yeah, so we've been doing something pretty interesting lately. So my weekend went well. We had a bunch of family over. It was my daughter's birthday, which was pretty cool. So she turned 9. She's almost double digits. So my eldest one, she's almost 15, and then we have our youngest one. So we're leaving that era where they're kids, because once they're both like double digits and you're past that, they're kind of like one's a teenager, the other one's almost a teenager. The leaving that chapter, that era behind is fast approaching, which is kind of scary. And so we've been kind of looking at all these moments that we have, and reflecting on the past a lot, which is something I think a lot of people do this time of year anyways. But it's even more so for us every year because our daughter's birthday's in December. And so we've spent a lot of time thinking about the past, but then also thinking about the future and what's in store. And so, as I mentioned before we got on air, a lot of things are happening with our side, Auto World. We got our new shop lease and stuff like that. So we take our new 3 times the size location over. So it's got us. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, so we're gonna be like, if we've been able to pump out what we're pumping out of this smaller shop, it's gonna be incredible what we can do with the new one. And sometimes, it's kind of like animals when they outgrow a certain thing, like hermit crabs, they go looking for a bigger shell. But sometimes some animals, like if you put a bigger shell on an animal, it doesn't necessarily mean the animal is going to change. But throughout nature, if you look at most things, like I used to have fish. I was a big fish guy. I didn't really have dogs or cats, but they would grow to the size of the tank that they're in. So I had a Baja shark, for example, and they're supposed to get to be about, a foot or, a little bit more. But if you put it in a smaller tank, it'll get stunted and stay at like 4 inches or something like that, because it doesn't want to outgrow its capacity for life, right? So it's all those things you start thinking about, and you're like, okay, so we're getting a bigger shop, but does that mean we're just getting a bigger shop, but we're not an animal that can grow into it, or are we gonna grow into this because we need to and we're going to? And so that's how we're looking at it. And I know a lot of people get focused on things like their holiday promotions and stuff, but for us, I'm actually more amped up for January. January is usually the slower time for business. It's really easy to sell in December, right? Everyone's in the buying spirit, right? But when those credit card bills hit the doorstep and people start looking at things and they're like, oof, geez, maybe I don't need to spend this, or I can't spend that. How do you sell during those times? And so that's where we're very focused on the upcoming season of Q1. So yeah, it's going to be pretty exciting. But that's it's kind of where my head's been at. But it was a pretty interesting weekend. Spent some time with family. Daughter's getting older, reflecting, all that stuff. Spent some time in the sauna. It was good. I was missing my picanha though. Did not have my picanha yet, but I've made do. but yeah. So on that note, though, after the weekend, we did something I thought was kind of interesting, and what that was is one of my daughter's friends. So her friend, the daughter, came to the birthday party. We did an escape room thing in the Forbidden Forest, and so her father's deaf, and so we communicate with him. We know some very basic, signing, like thank you and stuff like that, just to be able to get by saying hello to him. And he uses his app where he can, it like listens and then automatically puts it in and kind of like sends him vibrations and stuff. Anyway, it's pretty cool. It's got this technology that does some stuff. But we went back home and we were thinking about, how grateful we are. Daughter is getting older and life is going well. And then we started thinking about, what if things were different? And what if we had loss of a sense like that? Like, what if we lost our sight or hearing or something? And how would life be? And my wife instantly went to YouTube and she just pulled up videos on how to sign. And then we started practicing sign language together. All four of us. We went through the alphabet. We started practicing different words and stuff like that. And it really got me thinking business and the senses you have available, they really overlap quite a bit. And we become very focused on certain things. Like a lot of people ask, like what should I use images or visuals, or what should I do video, or what should I do, this kind of thing. We become very focused on what's trending and what sort of stuff we should do. And we really lose sight of the fact that not all of our customers have the same senses. And they may not have lost a sense in the sense of, they might be able to see, they might have sight, not that they're blind, but they're not using their senses in the same way that you're assuming they are. And so forever, people, text messages are the big thing. So that everybody just jumps in full force there and they forget about emails. But then, like us at our shop, we have a lot of, other people that all they use is email. They're like, listen, I use text all day for my business. Don't text me. Like, just shoot me an email. I'll check it later sometime. And then you have people like yourself, Marty, who never check your email. And it's like, just shoot me a text. But then you have other people where it's like, don't text me, don't email me, call me. Right? Yeah.
So Shawn,
yeah,
we haven't had this discussion in a while, have we?
no, we haven't. Yeah.
I've gone through a change.
Oh shit, no way. Okay.
Yeah,
Wow. You've evolved.
I have.
Yeah. See everybody.
Back to
See last
email.
week's episode.
This evolution is back to email. I can
Yeah.
texting
Nice.
as the replacement of email, but now I'm going, oh no,
No.
let's go back to email, please. Like, I
Yeah.
should have left, but
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway,
Yeah. Email, in my opinion, is far superior to text messaging for a bunch of reasons. And a lot of people are realizing that now more than ever with this new A2P protocol stuff with the government, where you have to register your number in order to send messages, and you could get your number blocked because you're sending spam or what's considered spam and all these things, and it's just instantly shut off. Don't get me wrong, that can happen with email as well to a degree, but the advantage with email in that sense is they have a
probably
reputation.
not. Yeah, because
Probably
email is
not.
not as intrusive as a text on your phone.
It's true. And because they go based off of a reputation, you can fix a reputation as well as destroy one. And you can move to a different server so you have a better one. You can change your email. There's a lot of things you can do, but you're still able to target that list because the list stays the same, right? So it's there's a lot of things you can do, but the biggest thing is having the ability for rich tracking and also rich content. You can send all kinds of stuff by email versus text messages. You're kind of limited to things. And text messages, I think, are really good for instant communication of a one, like, hey, here's a reminder about your appointment. Something like that is fine. But when it comes to lengthier messages and trying to, get some information to your prospect, I think that email trumps every single time. But the biggest thing as a business owner is you get your time back. If you send someone a text, they can instantly send you one back, and it's going back and forth and back and forth. And now you're playing table tennis versus lob somebody an email. You have that breathing room where you're not getting a response right away, and so I think that's huge. And so one of my, I guess, tip slash feature release is to get back to that form of communication and realize that your customers are going to have different senses that they're using in their day-to-day lives, and you need to start making note of that. And with OrbisX, it's really helpful because you can tag customers as certain things. You could tag customers as prefers email, prefers calls, prefers this, and then you can also use the journal and you can notate things like when a staff member follows up by phone, you can notate that in the journal, like called and left a voicemail or called or this and that. You can do different things. So OrbisX offers that, the logging and the tracking, as well as the versatility of how you follow up with your customers. And on that note, we have a feature release coming, which is amazing, that I touched on last week slightly. But we have our gift cards, and so we've now launched it. It's in the beta mode, so certain accounts have access to it, and it's going to be rolled out for everybody. But you can tap into AI for gift cards now So that instead of just having a standard template, here's a picture of a car, whatever like that for the background of your gift card, customers can actually pay to upgrade, and they can use AI to generate any background image that they would like. So they could type in something like, I don't know, a grandma hugging a golden retriever, and it'll generate that image, and it'll use that as the background for the gift card, which is pretty cool. And the coolest part about it is because we know, let's say someone purchased, Marty, you purchased a gift card for your wife, and we know the year, make, and model of her vehicle. It can actually generate that through AI, her exact year, make, model of vehicle next to something. You could say, put her vehicle next to a Christmas tree, and then it'll put her vehicle next to a Christmas tree on the gift card, and it'll be able to send that out. So it's more personalized, more customized, and that's through the power of AI mixed with OrbisX, which is pretty cool. So it makes for some really interesting email campaigns when you can now reach out to your customer and announce that as a feature that your business has that no other business has. So you can boost your sales in December. You can then once again boost them in the new year. You can say, hey, give a New Year's gift, Mother's Day, Valentine's Day, all of those holidays. You can do certain things like that now with the power of OrbisX and AI, which is pretty interesting. But it all comes down to emails. So I, like you, am a huge fan of email. And I think that for anyone that's, lost track of how successful email campaigns can be, you should revisit that. Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Because you're right. The amount of stuff that you can put in an email versus text is no comparison.
No comparison. Yeah. And the formatting and the way it's laid out, because the text is just boom, 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 a bunch of stuff. So if it goes too long, people have to just read it and read it and read it. Exactly. And also, cost per send
there you go.
Insanely different.
Yep.
Yeah.
Different.
Yeah. It's massive. It's massive. Yeah. And that's where, and the other thing too is it's easy for me to forward an email to somebody else. So if it's, hey, this is really interesting, let me forward this to so-and-so or so-and-so. Very easy to do from my email. To do from my phone, a lot more complex. And I'm also thinking about the dynamic of,
are you on Android or something?
Very funny. Yes, but it's easy enough to share, but what you have to factor in is I'm going to send this to somebody as a text. Like, how many text forwards do you honestly get versus
an Android guy, wouldn't you?
Of course.
It's simple if you move over to that, that golden app.
Can't do it. You're not gonna get me.
Use Apple, works good for me. That's all I know.
Yeah. Listen, Android's got a special place in my heart forever. I'll just leave it there. Yeah. Don't want to offend the other side. But yeah, so I did a lot of reflecting this weekend, and I practiced my alphabet again in sign language, and we learned some other things, common phrases, things like that, which was pretty interesting. But more importantly, it gave me a good insight or reflection period about how our business communicates with customers that may not be communicating using the same senses as us. It's good to take that time, I think. Yeah,
absolutely. All right, so mine comes from a conversation, well, multiple conversations, and from a movie, right? There's some of this all comes into one, is really where we're going with this. Have you watched, I asked you earlier, right? You haven't watched Endgame?
No, haven't, no. But now I obviously need to.
If you don't like that kind of stuff, then no, you don't want to. There's a scene at the very end of the movie that really impacted me. So much that even years later now, I still remember it. And it flashed back to me in the moment of a conversation I was having, with my partner, Nick. And so we'll have his conversation. We're going to talk about, on our Tuesday episode next week for the Pines and Polish podcast, because we are already laying it out because, that conversation came from another conversation, right? So once everything starts hitting, you just have to start laying out, right? Like that's the way we go.
Yeah,
so,
of course.
The first conversation was with a guy that was having some problems with a customer that was complaining about he can't just spray off his car and magically it's completely clean, right? How do you handle those type of customers? And make it We're talking about this and this and that. And then he starts talking about his dad. But his dad was always in a rush. And his dad is this. And it's like, I can relate to your dad. That's kind of basically what I said. It's just like, yeah, I can relate to always thinking I need to be in a hurry because I'm usually in a hurry to do something. I always need to go do something else.
So that's your statement. I'm in a hurry.
Well, yeah, part of the routine happened because I thought I needed to be doing something. Right?
Okay.
So kind of his joke to his dad is like, what are you in a rush for? Next step out of retirement is what? So why are you in a rush?
Yeah.
Let's go back to the movie scene of Endgame. You've got Captain America sitting on a bench. He chose not to take the leap back, right, when he was supposed to. Blew past his portal. Why? He needed life, right? He needed somebody to spend his life with. It was a part of a lot of when I went, okay, if 17, 18, 19, the amount that I put into that, the amount of time, energy, and effort, all of it, 100% worth it. Absolutely thrilled to be where I'm at today in business. And I'm okay with knowing that the sacrifice for my body and the amount of pain that I have is a result of that work. All good. That just means I can work out of the pain because I'm the one that caused it, right? I can do this. I can go. I can, right? I. And there became a moment where I go, no, I don't need to be in a rush. I don't need to always be at that next thing. There is a time that I need to not, this is not the appropriate, stop and smell the roses. No, I'm not stopping to smell the roses, but I'm stopping trying to force into being me for everything. Okay. How do you do that? Where's that even a problem? Why? Well, you might get to a place like, well, my wife happened to be very recently working so much and working so hard, but she doesn't have 20 plus years, right? So at 17, 18, and 19, how many years already did I have understanding stress, being able to manage the levels? I could have quit, but I knew that I could take it. And I knew that eventually it would be okay.
It would pay off. And
most people don't get there.
That's
right?
true.
Most people year 2, year 1 even, year 3.
Yeah.
Heart starts racing a little too much. Might have to start checking some blood pressures. Might start, right? Become some actual health problems very early on. Stress is a massive killer. Massive.
Yeah. A lot of people discount that, but it's huge.
Well, yeah, not only it's your physical health because that's the physical health because the chemical reaction in your brain when you're stressed is that flight mentality, right? You're always or fight, right? But you're always in it. You're fight or flighting. You're always going. You have no rest. Your body needs the rest to actually heal itself. I don't just mean sleep. I mean not always going 100 miles an hour.
True.
Right? And this is what everybody says. So stop and smell. No. Understand. You can go as hard as you can. You eventually need somebody that can handle a lot of your workload off of you. Oh, I'm not great with employees. I don't hire. That's not what I'm talking about. It's not what I'm talking about. You should hire people into your team. Absolutely. But what about this? If you're somebody, and I know there's plenty of listeners, the detail industry is filled with them. Solopreneurs. I'm a solo guy. Okay, I get it. Or you're a guy with a couple people. Okay. How then? Shawn?
Yeah.
This is now the tee up. I have now lobbed a giant softball up for you.
Yeah. So,
right? That's what you need.
And that's what
the
technology.
integration of your technology, the integration of using the system, right? I told you when I first started seeing this in my wife, I knew immediately then she needed some type of system that would handle her customer interaction.
Absolutely.
Handle her reminders those are little things every night that she has to do that take 15 to 20 minutes.
And then if you just have it done for you, that time is freed
It's
up.
already done for you. If you use the OrbisX system to its full capacity, and yes, I'll say it like everybody else inside of your group, pay Aaron to set it off for you.
It should be mandatory.
John does like, he's an Android user, so it makes sense. So pay him to set it up for you. Let it all be set up seamless so that you don't have to worry about it. Once again, right? One less thing to worry about.
Exactly.
And the extra, pay for the big package. Go ahead and let everything get handled.
It's true.
So if you want the results that you're seeking, then you're going to need to follow these steps, which Shawn has laid out for you. Which brings me back to the very first conversation. Was with a guy that the customer did not understand that he could not just rinse his car off and get amazing results. You want amazing results, you need to go through the process of a proper wash. You want to get amazing results in your health, in your life, in your business, you need to go through these steps. Bring somebody in. Let that be OrbisX. Let it control as much as you possibly can so that 15 to 20 minutes every night, 15 to 20 minutes in the morning, 15 to 20 minutes in the middle of the day begins to add up. And if you need to take that time, you're not smelling the roses. Yeah. Like I told her, maybe you get to take a deep breath. You don't have to stop and smell roses.
Yeah, that can make or break the,
At least breathe.
Yeah.
Know that you've got a system handling things for you. It's off of your plate. You can breathe.
Yeah.
You can let other people into your life. Let OrbisX in. Let it control and do some things so that you can.
Exactly.
I'm not stopping to smell the roses. I'm not burnt out. I'm not that.
Yeah.
Got there because I allowed OrbisX to come in and handle the things that people in the past never had the ability to take that off of their plate, get that out of their life.
Yeah. And now that it's here, it's amazing that any business owner would resist it. It's crazy. It's like, it's there for you. And it's where, speaking of emails and tying this all together too, is that so we're about to launch our email marketing system. It's going to replace things like MailChimp and stuff like that for your detailing business. And what we realized is that a lot of these guys want to do things like email marketing and stuff like that, but they're hesitant to hire, a firm because let's be honest, hiring a firm is great, but it still means you're quite involved because they're going to ask you what kind of campaigns you want to run, what's your goals, what's your this. It's still a time commitment. So, during some meetings with my team, I was looking at it and I was like, okay, so how do we eliminate that completely and just have it where that is still an option you have, but how could we, for the people that don't even want to spend that kind of time, how do we set up something so that it just sends out for them? And that's where what we've created are what we call campaign bundles. So we have lists that our AI compiles and generates for you. For example, right now is December. You might want to send out an email marketing campaign, but to who? To your leads? They've never even done business with you. So it might not be very successful, but maybe it is. So you have that as an option. Maybe your clients, that could be successful, but hey, what about people that purchased a gift card from you last year? That's probably a really good list to reach out to sell gift cards to again. Now, wouldn't it be cool if you didn't have to create the template? Absolutely. So our AI creates a template for you. Wouldn't it be cool if that template wasn't just boring and generic? Absolutely. So our AI creates that for you. So we now have bundles that some of our beta testers are getting to use this season, and it goes out with one click. Our AI reaches out to you and sends you an email and says, hey, would you like to do the following? We've created an email campaign for you. You can preview it. It's going to go to everyone that bought a gift card from you last year And what it's going to say is the following. And let's say last year I bought you a gift card, Marty. It's going to say, hey, would you like to buy Marty another gift card this year? Because it knows I bought you one last year. So it's going to send me an email pitching me on that on behalf of your business. And you don't have to do anything. You don't have to create a list. You don't have to figure out who to send it to. You don't have to create the campaign. All you have to do is say, yes, I would like to do this. That's it. And so we're doing a lot of the heavy lifting for people. This is in the beta phase right now. Our beta testers have access to it. It's going to be launched to our second round of beta testers. And then within the next week, it's going to be launched out to everybody to have available in OrbisX. But that's a way of you using automation, using OrbisX to save yourself time so you can take a break, take a breath. You know, and that's what it's really all about. And that's why OrbisX is something that these guys need to embrace. And they have to realize that it's so much more than just data entry. That is, you know, some of the other CRMs that are out there. You know, this is something a lot bigger than what a lot of people realize. And those that had the free year and didn't use it, man, did they miss out. It's funny because a lot of them came back when they're like, oh, I went and tried one of the other ones. I'm such an idiot. I let my 12 months expire. Like, I'm sorry, man. I don't know what to tell you, but that's gone now. But especially now that we've got all these tools, it's worth so much more. So anyway, our pricing is staying the same for now, which is awesome. So if you haven't yet, take advantage of OrbisX. Pricing is still staying the same, and you still get your free trial. So you can test drive it out just in time for the holidays, and you can finally take a breath. Here we go. On that note, I've got to go take a couple breaths because I've got parent-teacher interviews tonight, which I'm not looking forward to. Yeah, so I might just go in there and just speak sign language. That's what I'm going to do. We'll wrap it up in 2 minutes. No good?
Now put that on social and be like other people, frauding others. I don't actually want to do that. Good thing. I mean, I don't know. Are you government-owned schools? So are you going to be frauding the government too?
Yeah, we're definitely government-owned schools, but we'll never be frauding the government. No, if we get government contracts, we deliver exactly what's in the contract.
Smart move.
Because the only handcuffs I like are the ones in the bedroom.
Agreed.
Yeah, absolutely. Plus, there's something that comes from having integrity. You know?
Only if I'm putting them on, though. I still am not good with handcuffs.
Depends what it is. Yeah. You know, I'll just like hide a secret key like in my back of my mouth. You know. Absolutely, but I know what you mean though. It's I'll put them on her all day, you know. But yeah, in this case, so anyway, yeah, I think that company that frauded the government there, I mean, he'll make a really pretty girlfriend though when he goes to his new home. Just ridiculous. But anyway, yeah, stupid, absolutely stupid. So guys, if you get a government deal, deliver exactly what they're looking for so that you can take a breath with clean, fresh air outside.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
There we go. Tied it all up. All right, Marty. Appreciate you as always, guys. Remember, take a breath this holiday season. And if you haven't yet, tune in to Pints of Polishing podcast as well. You said next Tuesday. You guys are going on. You and Nick talking about it, right? Mm-hmm. Or was that today you're talking? Next week. Yeah. Beauty. All right. Tune in next week, guys, and be sure also check out hyperClean Car Care products. I'm sure Marty's got some new videos there, looking all handsome, and check those out.
Oh, yeah. A new Ram video came out last Friday, and then the next ones will be some Porsches. Porsche that came in when Nick was here. So
nice.
It's discussions with Nick, which is a lot of fun.
All right, always fun. Absolutely.
Horrible camera work. Horrible. Nick did a good job, but my camera work on those was terrible. Terrible. I like the Ram video. I liked my camera work on that. That was fun. But yeah, I didn't do good on the. I did bad, actually. It was bad. But
oh damn! Well, guys, check it out. Leave your feedback. Let us know what you think. Which one was better? I'm gonna go check out the Ram one too.
All right, we'll see you, man. Thank you.
Man. All right, see you soon, man. All right, cheers.